Well, good morning and welcome to another Southern Airs trip report or vlog. With me, Tyler, Jett Force, one Medallo, as always, at your service. Okay, so I've got 10 hours in London before I need to go home to Bournemouth. And there's something I've always fancied doing here in London, that's going around some different rock and roll landmarks in the city. Because London has a very rich history when it comes to rock and pop music. So, I'm about to leave my hotel, got the whole day ahead of me. I'm going to take you with me as we travel to some of the rock landmarks in London, and I'll try and tell you a little bit about them. Without further ado, onwards. Well, I suppose I better start my landmarks off here. This is the Wembley Arena, the OVO Arena. And I went last night here actually watching the Scorpions, supported by Extreme, as the Scorpions played their first UK gig since 2008. They were here supporting their 40th anniversary tour of Love at First Sting, the iconic album from the German rock band. 2 years earlier, I actually came here to see Status Quo. In fact, if I come round here, there's actually a handprint from Status Quo, Rick Parfitt and Francis Rossi. And yeah, I'll be back here in 4 weeks to see ZZ Top as well, and they've got Rival Sons supporting them. Fab. But it gets better, because there is another major venue here at Wembley, which we're just going to take a short walk round to. Well, actually, while I'm here, there they are, in the presence of God themselves, Status Quo. Come on, really? Do I have to introduce this building behind me? It is Wembley Stadium. And okay, yeah, it is predominantly known as a sports venue. However, we do get a lot of big acts coming here. Last year, I went to my first gig here, and that was Motley Crue and Def Leppard's joint world tour. And in fact, in a few weeks, after I do the ZZ Top gig, I will be back again to Wembley to see a gig actually here in the stadium. I'm confused. Who's Taylor Swift? No. Proper music. Bruce Springsteen, the boss. I could go on all day talking about Wembley Arena and Wembley Stadium, but there is a lot more to see. So I'm going to pick up with you in a couple of seconds. From your perspective, it'll be almost an hour from my perspective, but I've got somewhere I need to go and it's not far from here, so I'll catch up with you in a few minutes. Made it to my destination, Holloway Road. Now I've got to go find a block of flats. All will be revealed shortly. You see this building here just in front of the little supermarket? That is our destination, 306 Holloway Road. Now if I told you somewhere in those flats a string of monster hits in the UK charts were created in that very building, well, I've got news for you, they were. Back in the early 60s, the record producer Joe Meek lived in this building. In fact, it's the one, you probably saw it in the earlier clip, I'll get a better shot of it in a few minutes, but it's the one with the black plaque on it. Now, Joe Meek was the Telstar man. He produced a number of hits in the 60s, including Just Like Eddie for Hyde, Johnny Remembery for John Lydon, Tornadoes, Telstar, big hit. First single to get to British band to get #1 in both the UK and the US at the same time, way before the Beatles, long after Cliff Richard. But the magic happened all in that building, so let's go over and take a closer look. So I'm currently sat on a bench just outside of 306 Holloway Road, looking at the plaque for Joe Meek, and there's a commemorative bench here for him as well. Joe Meek had a very tragic life amongst all the success that he had in the 1960s. On the 3rd of February 1967, after an argument with his landlady, he murdered both her before turning the gun on himself, ending his life as well. Now, I'm pretty certain in 2009, when they filmed the biopic Telstar, which is about the life and death of Joe Meek, they actually filmed it here at Holloway Road, as well as on obviously this very street that I'm at. pretty impressive. Yeah, you can't go in 306 Holloway Road because it is actually flats that do belong to someone, but there are videos where people have gone inside the buildings and had a look around. In fact, on the very stairway where Joe Meek would end his life in 1967, 3 years earlier, on one of his last #1 hits that he produced, it can be heard on Have I the Right by the Honeycombs. The drums weren't quite strong enough for the record to Joe's liking, so accompanying the drums, he also got the band, the Honeycombs, as well as himself and one of his colleagues in the production shop to stomp on the staircase, and that can be heard on the record itself. Yeah, this is 306 Holloway Road, the third stop on our little tour. I'll carry on in a few minutes and we'll head to our next location. So that was impressive. I just went in the shop to get a bottle of water and a snack, and I just ran into a lovely lady who actually worked on the Telstar film. She was an extra in it, and she was also involved in trying to get the licensing for the Joe Meek music to be featured in the movie, which is amazing. So yeah, you probably wondered why there's a black plaque up here instead of a blue one, because as you know, in London there's a load of blue plaques everywhere. I think the blue plaque lot don't want to be associated with what happened on February 3rd, 1967. But obviously, a society involved with Joe Meek have obviously managed to get a black plaque up there installed, which I think is pretty cool. So, without further ado, let's get on to the next location. Right, I'm in Holloway Road train station, so I'm going to go to the furthest destination away because everything else is in central London, but there's one thing I've got to do that's all the way on the east side of London. Train's just coming through now, so I'll catch up with you when I get to my destination on the other side of London. It's going to take a while for me to get there, so I'll probably catch up with you an hour in my perspective. Right, so it's nearly an hour since I last spoke to you. Finally made it to my destination in the east of London. I don't know about you, but after all that transiting on the London Underground, having had to take the Piccadilly line, Central line and the Elizabeth line, I'm feeling a bit parched, I'm feeling a bit tired. Oh, what's this to see before me? It's our next landmark, and it happens to be a pub. So this pub, very important for metalheads in the UK. This is the Cart and Horses pub in Maryland, just a short walk from Stratford as well. If you go that way, you'll find Stratford Station. But this is the birthplace of Iron Maiden. They played their very first gig here in 1976, having formed in the previous December. But this was a very early Iron Maiden. There was no Bruce Dickinson, no Adrian Smith, Nico McBride. Steve Harris led a group of his mates in here, and the rest is rock and roll history. Let's go inside and get a pint. Go get a decent head on that. Cheers. Yes.
Big cold store here, and then lots of different little rooms.
How long will it take you to go from what it was to what it is now?
Essentially, we closed just prior to COVID, and as I say, we opened in March. 2 years, March just come.
Right, so I've had a few drinks at the Horse and Cart. I'm going to one more pub because apparently there's another iconic music rated pub here in London. So I've come to the end of the line on the Overground. First time I've actually travelled on the Overground. Yes, I'll catch up with you when I get to this next pub. I've got the address, so it should be a few minutes walk from here. So I'm in the Holloway Road pub, which apparently is a big historic venue to the punk rock scene. They have a bit of link to the Sex Pistols as well, the bands from that era, Specials, Clash, Joy Division. Apparently there's a band playing downstairs. I'm going to go check that out. So I've just been down in the basement of the Hope and Anchor. Headstone Horrors were playing. I've filmed a little clip of them playing. I actually quite enjoyed them. I think I might have to go check them out. Hopefully they might play Bournemouth and Southampton in the next few weeks. I'll give them a follow. Anyway, that's the name of the band if you want to check them out. I need to head on though. I can't stay for the rest of their gig. I mean, I only got in for free because it's like a few minutes from finishing, but I've got to get to Green Park. There's a few more locations we've got to check out, so I'll catch you soon. Dude, very cool. They do plenty of gigs at this venue, so be sure if you're in the area to check this place out, see if there's any local bands or up-and-coming bands playing. Right, I've got to head back to catch the Jubilee line. I've got to go to Green Park to film the next segment of this video, so I'll catch you in a couple of minutes. For those of you wondering why I'm stood in front of a church, well, this is the famous Union Chapel. And the reason I'm going to give it a feature is because this actually featured on a live rock album. You're probably wondering, what rock band would play live in the middle of a church, in the middle of Ingliston, London? That, my friends, well, I can answer that for you now. Procol Harum, you know, Whiter Shade of Pale, Conquistador, you name it. They actually did a live album here in 2003. And it was the last album that they released featuring their original organ player Matthew Fisher before he quit the band in 2004. Brilliant live album, Whiter Shade of Pale, one of the best known rock songs of the last 70 years. And I think at one point it was the most played rock song on British radio. I could be wrong, I'm sure someone in the comments will correct me, but nonetheless, that is enough to get Union Chapel featured in this little vlog. And it's also just around the corner from the Hope and Anchor pub. The Hope and Anchor is just in that direction. Right, I need to head back to Green Park now, so I'll catch you in a few minutes when I'm at Green Park. So the London Hard Rock Café, which is the original one at Hyde Park, has this really cool venue called The Vault at the bottom of their rock shop. And check this out, that drum kit belongs to Black Sabbath's Bill Ward. There's a few more impressive things just beyond that room, but we'll get to that in a minute. And check this out. How's that for memorabilia? visit to the Hard Rock Cafe at Old Park Lane, which is the original Hard Rock Cafe, and where all the memorabilia collection started. Right, now I've got to head 5 minutes down this way because I've got to find somewhere called Curzon Square. Right, next stop on our whirlwind tour. This is 9 Curzon Square. Well, the entire place is Curzon Square. But flat number 9, in this myriad of black buildings, is where 2 of the greatest rock and roll tragedies in London have occurred. In the same apartment, which is number 9, in here, both Mama Cass Elliot of the Mamas and Papas and Keith Moon of The Who both passed away in the same building, just 4 years apart. Mama Cass sadly died of a heart attack, and Keith Moon died of acute alcohol poisoning. Mama Cass had, in 1974, had just finished a string of performances at the London Palladium when she sadly passed away, and Keith Moon had passed away the night he went to see the premiere of the Buddy Holly story with Paul McCartney and various other celebrity friends. I'll get a decent shot of some of the building from different angles, so I'm not exactly sure which one is number 9, but I have been told that the windows for number 9 have been bricked up, apparently, so that could give us a little inclusion as to which flat apparently is location number 9. Terrible story about 2 amazing rock musicians of the late 60s and early 70s, cut completely short, way ahead of their time. Okay, so I've just taken a short walk around the Curzon Square building and I've noticed something. That window's bricked up, just like I've been told. So that must be number 9, where Mama Cass and both Keith Moon have sadly passed away. Kind of feels a bit eerie being here, you know. Because you hear about these stories in the history books, online, on the videos and all that, but to actually see the place in person, it's kind of, I don't know, kind of eerie, I guess, because, you know, considering what happened, they were both in their early 30s, so they weren't young, they were still quite young. Jimi Hendrix also passed away here in London, but I won't cover that one. I've already got Joe Meek, I've got 2 in 1 up here, but yeah, this is the place, this is the place. Well, ladies and gentlemen, another blue plaque, as you can see right here. This is 3 Savile Row, and on that very rooftop up there is where the Beatles played their last ever gig. They played about 2 or 3 songs at the top of that building on the famous rooftop concert. Still got one more Beatles related landmark in London to show you, but this happened to be right around the corner from the Hard Rock Cafe and 9 Curzon Square. But yeah, this is 3 Savile Row. Don't think you can go in there these days, it's obviously private property. But yeah, another famous London landmark, so I better get my feet going and find my way to the next stop for you guys. Another stop on this whirlwind rock and roll tour. I don't think I need to introduce the zebra crossing, do I really? Well, at least I've crossed it without getting run over by a vehicle. And of course, the building, the myth, where all the legendary stuff took place, Abbey Road Studios. It looks like they are actually, someone may be recording today, so I better watch what I'm filming because I don't want to accidentally upset someone. But yeah, that's the iconic studio right behind me. Still active, people still record there to this day, and for good reason. Right, now I think we've got time for one more location on this rock and roll tour. Somewhere that I think is arguably the best venue in all of London, bar none. So right, let's not beat about the bush. I said I'd take you to the coolest venue in London. Who has won that title as far as the Sun is concerned? Presenting the O2 Empire at Shepherd's Bush. Yep, there you have it. As far as I'm concerned anyway, this is the coolest venue in all of London. It's better than the O2, it's better than the Scala, better than that place I went to last night. What was it? Wembley Arena? Wembley who? Shepherd's Bush, is what I'm talking about. Tell you what though, I'm looking forward to getting to see another gig here at some point, because like I said, this is my favourite venue, and I think pretty much all the other Southerners will agree that this venue is something pretty iconic. Well, under the presence of the O2 Shepherd's Bush Empire, I suppose I better leave the vlog there, because I gotta get back to Victoria now and catch a coach that's leaving at 9 PM, and it is about 7:15 now. I've got plenty of time to get there, but nonetheless, I don't want to be beaten about the bush. So without further ado, thank you for tagging along, safe travels, and we'll see you in the next one.